Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where we just witnessed Broken Mania. It is Lost in the Midcard. Here we are. We are in the aftermath of NXT Takeover Orlando and WrestleMania 33. It is all in the books. We are going to cover the weekend in its entirety, let you know our thoughts and feelings on it. Also reveal our polls that we have put up on Twitter at LITMC Podcast of how the people felt as well. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net by being our host and enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. All you got to do to subscribe is search for Lost in the Midcard, and there it is. Every time a new show comes your way, you'll be notified, and typically that's on most Thursdays and also Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. The links are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. And as I mentioned, we're also on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers, and my co-host, he is on the Twitter at RawF Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
You know, it's rather ironic the Hardys won the tag titles at the midway point through WrestleMania, because I'm pretty sure the WrestleMania after that tag team title ladder match was pretty much broken.
So you're saying they broke the WWE by winning the tag titles, huh?
Well, somebody broke the company.
Whatever, pal.
I'm telling you what. I told you on the show a couple times. I wanted to be able to come on the show tonight and say, "Wow, I really regret not going to Orlando." And I'm fucking telling you right now, I'm so fucking happy that I didn't go to Orlando.
Overall, I enjoyed the show. We'll get into it in a little bit. I think overall I enjoyed it, though. I thought it was a fairly decent show, and it made sense why the last match was the last match when they did what they did. We aren't going to cover many headlines, actually, hardly any at all, just one big one. We'll cover the rest of them on our show coming at you on Thursday, but big news, as we have told you here on Lost in the Midcard, that it was probably coming sometime soon, and yes, it has been officially announced that yesterday it was announced that a 32-woman's tournament is going to be taking place this summer on the WWE Network. This was announced today during WWE Reimagined, a presentation held at a Business Partners Summit in Orlando, Florida. Raw Women's Champion Bayley, SmackDown Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, and NXT Women's Champion Asuka were the ones that broke the news of the big tournament. They were also joined on stage by Triple H and Stephanie. So very cool news there, and Triple H tweeted the following, that 32 women from 17 countries will compete in a tournament of their own, only on the WWE Network. And Matt, got to be excited for this one, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like the Cruiserweight Classic, it should be great. You know, Triple H knows how to book that kind of stuff, so it should be fun.
Yeah, is the Cruiserweight Classic, that's a every year thing though still, right?
No, because the Cruiserweight Classic goes on in the summertime, and this is taking its spot. So I don't see that as being a yearly thing anymore, especially with the division up and running on 205 Live. I don't foresee the Cruiserweight Classic coming back this year. Maybe an every other year thing, but yeah. It's not. I don't see it being a yearly thing.
Right on. This Friday, the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony took place, and I don't know about you, Matt, but I thought it was 4 hours long, and it did not feel like 4 hours. I thoroughly laughed and cried many different times throughout the night. I completely enjoyed the entire thing. Matt, what did you think?
The Hall of Fame from top to bottom, I thought it was one of the best Hall of Fames that WWE's put on in a really long time. There were no bad speeches. I thought everybody did really well. I thought the 4-hour event, while it might have been long, I thought it went by really quickly for the most part. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Some of the highlights, I mean, DDP, just talking about his career, some great stories there. Very cool. I love the story that they told Dusty he'd never be a world champion, and Dusty just basically lost it on him, and that kind of woke up DDP, and just a few months later he was world champion.
4 years later.
4 years later. Yeah, sorry. And so great speech by DDP. Some great stories to tell there. Jim Cornette was awesome. He wasn't really, everybody thought he'd be, drop some bombshells, but he didn't. He told some great stories. Highlighted the feud between the Rock and Roll and Midnight Express that lasted a long, long time. I thought Corny did great here, Matt. What did you think on Corny's speech?
He behaved himself out of respect to out of respect to the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I know some people wanted him to go off the rails or whatever, but I thought he had a really good speech, and he said what he needed to say, and he didn't really need to go any further than that.
No, I love the line that he said that they had more sex coming into the ring than some people had in 1 year. That was a pretty funny line, and I loved the speech from the Rock and Roll Express. I grew up watching these guys in the NWA and WCW, so it was a treat to listen to them tell their stories of their career and such, and then Ricky saying how he's got 6 kids and they all look like Robert. I thought that was kind of funny, but it almost in true fashion to most of the night. Almost all these guys were touched by Dusty Rhodes and the Rock and Roll Express. They said that Dusty believed in them as well. I thought Rick Rude's son did a great job with the speech there and cutting into his dad's gimmick, calling the Central Floridans sweat hogs. I thought Rick Rude's son did a great job there. Nice little speech from him. I thought Natalia's speech, man, that was one of those where the waterworks started to go a little bit. But Natalia did phenomenal, didn't she, Matt?
Yeah, like I said, all everybody did great. It was top to bottom a very good night. All good speeches. I had nothing negative to say about the Hall of Fame whatsoever.
Beth put over a lot of people in her speech, of people that just helped her along the way, and it was really cool to hear that. And then, of course, to see Edge and one of their daughters in the crowd was really special. The Warrior Ward, a great speech by Eric LeGrand for sure. That was a lot of fun. JBL and Ron Simmons calling Teddy Long the cheapest man they know ever. That was kind of funny. Teddy Long was great. For those that don't know, I mean, he's done it all in the professional wrestling world, and that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. That was pretty good. So I thought it was pretty funny when he's going to put the APA in a tag team match, though. And then
finally, won't work. It's 1-on-1 with the Undertaker.
And then finally, John Cena inducts Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle. Basically, it was great. He did an example of all the wacky things he's done that were great in the WWE, and he did that as a message to those sitting in front of him, saying you got to take risks. And so it was a great speech by Kurt, and I absolutely loved the milk bash at the end. Kurt Angle. It was truly a great speech there, and from the sounds of things, it sounds like we are not seeing the last of Kurt Angle by far in the WWE. So
no, it's my understanding he's back full time starting tomorrow.
Yeah, and he'll probably make an appearance tomorrow. Well, they said he was advertised for both Raw and SmackDown, so that'll be interesting. What did you like?
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that.
What'd you like better? What'd you like better? Sexy Kurt, the milk bash, the wig, the cowboy hat. I mean,
dude, it was Kurt's greatest hits.
Oh,
and
man.
they were all great.
I loved the crowd chiming in on Sexy Kurt. But it all ends with the milk bash. About a 4-hour show. It was phenomenal. Some great speeches. So if you have not gotten to see it yet, make sure you go out of your way to catch it on the WWE Network. NXT Takeover Orlando was amazing. No surprise there. Show starts off with Triple H doing a little voiceover while there's a spotlight in the ring, saying how they're going to make history, and ended up saying how they are home, since that's where NXT is. Match kicks off with Sanity, and they show a happenings from Access earlier in the day where Sanity attacks No Way Jose, and that rendered him out of the match. So the obvious two replacements would be either Hideo Itami or Cassius Ohno, and it was Oh No joining Dillinger, Strong, and Ruby Riott. And man, I thought this match was a great way to start off NXT Takeover. I thought the action was just all over the place and great, and I think everyone involved did a great job on this match, don't you think?
Yeah, and who knew the stipulation of the person who got the pinfall got a spot in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Yeah,
that would have been nice to know ahead of time.
That was interesting. Yeah, great match there. Wonder if that's Ty Dillinger's swan song. I guess we'll find out in the next 48 hours. But a good opener by all. Next we get Andrade Cien Almas taking on Aleister Black, and how badass was Aleister Black's entrance, Matt?
It was pretty dope.
Oh, the old Dracula, little rising from the coffin kind of thing. That was cool. It's like, what are they doing? This camera's at a weird angle, and all of a sudden you see Black just kind of raise up. But that was not the only cool part of the match. Black had some sweet moves. If you've not seen Tommy End wrestle before, there was your introduction to Tommy End, aka now known as Aleister Black. I love the finisher. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that kick was the setup for towards that back kick, Matt. I liked it a lot. I think that's a cool finisher. Next up is the NXT Tag Team Championships. It's an elimination match between the Authors of Pain, DIY, and the Revival. And this is our first of three title matches, and we get some new tag team titles. Actually, all the titles are replaced here, Matt. What did you think of all the titles, the new titles that were unveiled on the TakeOver show?
I thought they were fine. I mean, I thought the tag titles looked cool. I wasn't necessarily blown away by the women's title, and I saw the men's title looked pretty much the same. So they're kind of going with the theme of the main roster. I mean, the title still looks better than what they use on Raw and SmackDown, so, man, I guess it's not all bad. But,
yeah,
you know.
I kind of dig the all gold on the men's. And they kind of wanted the women's to not look like, girly, I guess, is the best word to use for that. Since they're kind of getting away from the Divas thing, obviously, and that kind of looked a little, purple jewels and stuff in there. And so, yeah, I think it's a nice little upgrade. The tag titles are...
I thought their women... I thought all their championships were fine, but, I mean, I don't mind the updates of them either.
Yeah. What did you think of the Triple Threat elimination match, Matt?
Had to have been the best match of the weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, am I wrong?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I thought that match was amazing.
It was. I love the opening bell where the Revival and DIY turn and they're standing side by side to attack AOP. I thought that was just a cool opening moment. But obviously their hatred for each other was kind of the downfall, and that ended up with DIY getting first eliminated with a bullshit chant starting. And
crowd was not happy.
No, I think the crowd wanted a DIY win. I think they would have been happy with a Revival win too.
Yeah, I think they would have taken anybody but the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
The only issue I have with, like, the Authors of Pain winning the match is they made them look so fucking unstoppable that there's no current tag team in NXT right now that 2-on-2 should be able to beat these guys. Like, there's nobody down there. Like, unless they're bringing in War Machine, there's nobody down there that I feel should be able to go in there and compete with them after the dominant performance that they had in this match. Yeah. And that's the only negative thing that I can say about it.
Yeah, because the tag division is really thin. The other guys you got there are heavy machinery. They're still pretty green. The twin brothers, I can't remember their names off the top of my head. They're still really green. You're going to have like a superstar tag team, like a Jose tagging with somebody, or a couple of heavyweights coming together to take on Authors of Pain, unless a War Machine comes in. Do you know how long they're contracted with Ring of Honor? Because didn't they re-sign at the end of the year?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, and of course, they might have had like a Bobby Fish deal where they didn't re-sign, and it was just kind of extension after extension. So you never know. But Authors of Pain retain, and then next up is Asuka taking on Ember Moon. I thought this was a great hard-hitting match, Matt. I enjoyed it. I had no problems about it. I was a little surprised they kept the title on Asuka, but at the same time, I didn't feel like Ember Moon was ready to be champion yet, so I'm okay with it. And I don't know where they go from here, but what were your thoughts on the women's title match?
Well, I mean, Asuka completed the heel turn. She's been teasing the heel turn for weeks now with the cocky attitude.
Now she cheated,
and now she cheated to win. So she completed the heel turn. I don't think it hurt. I don't think it hurt Ember at all. Ember took her to her limit, and Asuka had to cheat to win. So I totally think the feud's going to continue, and there's really nothing wrong with that.
I saw someone put on Twitter that due to her cheating to win, this kind of helps tell the story of Ember having a path towards the championship, where it really didn't seem like we really had much of a path. It was kind of just all of a sudden, here's Ember in this place because that's the woman that's basically had the most momentum. There wasn't much of a story to it between the two women, so I do like where it's going now. If it tells a longer story for the struggle for Ember to get back on top, I think it helps both women. And then after that match, we saw someone in the crowd, Matt. He looked a little familiar. What was that guy's name?
Drew. You know the guy who I said was going to be at NXT Takeover? I'm just saying.
That was and everybody making fun of the screenshot that NXT posted as they all said, "Hey, look, there's Seth Rogen's stunt double." The guy behind him there, but Drew has signed an NXT contract, and so if you think NXT is a developmental brand now, now you got Bobby Roode, you got Nakamura, you got Drew, you got some seasoned talent in there, as long as some up and coming talent. So NXT continues to get better and better, and it's good. Hopefully NXT, Matt, I thoroughly hope NXT is a way to reestablish Drew as a top guy now that he should have been in the first place. You agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially by them bringing him into NXT instead of the main roster. Clearly, he's going to be in a main event position with the brand down there, and I think it'll be great.
The main event, dueling pianos. Maybe that was a precursor to what we would see at WrestleMania. We don't know. But Shinsuke Nakamura and Bobby Roode had an epic 28-minute battle. Matt, what were your thoughts on the main event of Takeover?
It was great, dude. Mm-hmm. It was a great match, and and clearly they went out. Nakamura's coming to the main roster.
Yep.
What are your guesses? Put Roode over on the way out. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Red or blue? What are your guesses? I'm guessing
I want him on SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm guessing Raw.
But I also think he'll end up on Raw. I'd prefer him on SmackDown, but we'll see what happens.
If they trade AJ to Raw and Nakamura's on Raw, I'm okay with that. Plus, you got Joe on Raw, too. So
yeah.
The ending of the match, though, I mean, it was a slow-paced match, but it's a 30-minute match. It's going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be a little slower paced, but that glorious DDT off the turnbuckles, man, that was just a nice little spot. It's something we'd never seen before by Bobby Roode, and I enjoyed that hell out of that. And congrats to Bobby Roode for retaining his title. Who do you think is the next one to step up? Do you think Drew steps right up in there, or Hideo Itami maybe? What do you think?
You got Itami, you got Ono, you've got Drew. There's plenty of challengers lined up for Roode now, and let's not forget Kyle O'Reilly's coming in soon.
Yeah, and
honestly, the list of main eventers is growing in NXT right now. And I really feel within a few months they're really not going to miss Nakamura all that much because their main event scene's going to be pretty crowded.
Yeah, I think Drew fills that void pretty well, and other guys that are coming in, yeah, I fully agree. They're going to fill that void pretty well. I mean, obviously, Matt, you had to be happy with the way Takeover came down, right?
Yeah, I thought Takeover was great. Even the match results that I didn't agree with, I still thought like the match was so good that it forgave it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a really good thing about NXT. Even sometimes when I don't agree with the result that they go with, the match quality is so good and so booked so well that both people come out of it looking strong that it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
who wins and who loses, because NXT knows how to properly book their people.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, the main roster does not.
That's the exact difference of, oh god, why did they win? Well, in the end, it's going to be booked to make sense. It's not booked to just have Vince jerk off, and go, ha ha ha, pal. But anyways, we ran a poll. Oddly enough, this is some interesting results. I don't know if you had seen these yet, Matt, but on our Twitter account at LATMC Podcast, what would you rate NXT Takeover Orlando? And not a single vote went C or below, Matt.
That's cool.
57% gave it an A, 43% gave it a B. Not a single D or F vote. So, very cool. Takeover, once again, may not be the best takeover of all time, but still a great 2.5 hours of wrestling. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's go to that epic 7-hour thrill ride called WrestleMania. We kick off the kickoff show. Neville versus Austin Aries. Matt, these guys put on a hell of a show, and my God, I hope Austin Aries is okay after that German.
Oh my God, dude, it was crazy.
The pre-show put me to sleep, so I woke up like right as the match started, so I missed the entrances. So I'm gonna have to go back and see Austin Aries' entrance and pop, because I didn't quite catch that, but I caught the match itself, thankfully. That woke me up out of my slumber, and I was good to go for the rest of the night. Hard-hitting, great action between those guys, and Neville pulls out the red arrow, which he rarely uses now, so he needed to pull out everything, is basically the story they told for Austin Aries to get pinned. Were you a little surprised they went this way and kept the title on Neville?
Well, honestly, the finish of the match was kind of poetic justice.
The eye poke?
Yeah, I mean, Austin Aries' entire commentary strategy was a thumb to the eye.
Yeah.
So the fact that that's where they went with,
I thought that was a brilliant kind of sneaky little wink on it.
Yeah, and I think it was fine. I mean, he cheated to win. I mean, some can argue that the referee was right there when he saw the eye rake, so technically it should have been a disqualification. But, the finish was what it was. I don't think Aries' chase is over, just like I don't think Ember Moon's chase is over. I felt the booking of both of those matches were very similar in the way that they ended, and I don't have a problem with that at all.
And the number one thing you said when this was announced to be moved to the pre-show, you said, "Hey, it gives them time."
Yeah, I thought they got a lot of time. I don't know what the exact length of the match was, but
they gave them just under 16 minutes.
Yeah, there's no way they would have got that on the main show.
No,
there's no freaking way.
1, 2, 3, 4 matches went that long out of the 9 on the main card. or out of the 10, there was 10 matches on the main card, and only 4 of them would go over 16 minutes. Hell, that match went longer than the Battle Royal. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. 33 guys were in the ring there. And yet they didn't need to reinforce it for that, but they have to when Big Show takes on Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh well, sorry, I was playing my WWE Champions game there. Sorry. Pretty surprised by the early exits from Strowman and Show.
Yeah, I was. I thought that was kind of crazy. They threw them out that quick. Especially, look, anybody that listens to this show, knows that I'm not the world's biggest Big Show fan. But that dude busted his ass to get in the shape that he was in, and get ready for this WrestleMania. And I just feel like him and Strowman both got shit on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them, Strowman busted his ass all year, Big Show busted his ass all year, and they were in a battle royal where they didn't even get to come down to the end. It's just kind of, I don't know, it was just, I felt bad for both of those guys. Big Show's really not somebody that I'm, that I'm a fan of. I felt they both got dicked off. I felt they both got dicked over.
As soon as I saw Rob Gronkowski in the crowd, I kind of thought I had an inkling that Mojo was going to win it. And then when those two guys went over, I'm like, yeah. The
funniest part was when the lady security guard tried to stop freaking Gronk.
She's doing her job.
The WWE officials had to come over and be like, no, this is part of the show.
Let
him in. We need our ESPN moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It was that part cracked me up. So
I was wondering why Gender was still in like the final 3. I'm like, what in the world is? It was down to Gender, Killian Dane, and Raleigh, and I'm like, well, this is a weird final 3, dude. I thought Gronk's moment was cool. That was awkward though when security stopped him, but once he got in the ring, I thought the moment was cool. I thought it was a lot of fun. Killian Dane and Mojo Rawley. Raleigh got Dane out of there and then sidestepped Mahal and did the forearm with a little bit of steam behind it. And congrats to Mojo Rawley for getting a WrestleMania moment. I'm proud of the guy. I love Mojo Rawley. I just think he's a cool dude and works his ass off. So well deserved by Mojo to get his WrestleMania moment there. Oh, did they swerve us with the next match? As it was announced, the women were not going to no longer be on the pre-show. So we're like, cool, okay, only 2 pre-show matches. Nope, they threw the Intercontinental Championship down the shitter once more, didn't they, Matt?
And the worst part is they didn't even tell anybody.
No. You know why?
Oh, yeah, because everybody got pissed.
Yep. The internet. I mean, Corbin and Ambrose deserve to be on the main show. They've had a lengthy feud, which has been great. It's been as a result of multiple pay-per-views, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble. It's been a great feud. It deserved to be on the main card. Put Pitbull and Flo Rida on the pre-show. But and the match was okay. I mean, it wasn't a wow moment or anything. There wasn't many wow moments in this match. It was just a hard-working match between the two guys. The crowd wasn't into it because they're probably same as us. Like, what the fuck is this doing on the pre-show? And in the end, Ambrose gets the win with the Dirty Deeds. I fully expect Corbin probably wins Tuesday, don't you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel like since they moved it to the pre-show that they wanted more eyes on it with SmackDown, and they'll probably do a rematch there. I mean, I definitely thought Corbin was getting the title. So
we all picked it.
Yeah, I think he'll win it on Tuesday, but I mean, I can't guarantee it.
Of course, I think we were.
Who knows?
I think we were all 0-3 on the. Or did you take? No, you took Aries, but you had a bad feeling about it.
Yeah.
So we were all 0-3 on the pre-show. Of course, that Intercontinental title didn't quite help us there. New Day, the hosts of the WrestleMania, actually the beautiful Tinashe and her cleavage sang "America the Beautiful." And then we got an opening video package that I think I was with most of the internet on this. It was not as good as some other WrestleMania video packages. I think Vince tried to put over that roller coaster a little too hard there. It wasn't as great as it's been in years past. So I'll say that much. New Day, our hosts, welcome us to the show. They are dressed up in a Final Fantasy theme because hello, they're a sponsor.
Yeah, product placement.
But yet they might be a sponsor because of Xavier Woods. So, that might be part of it. It was pretty cool to hear 70,000 people chant "Who," and then Big E, of course, wants to get his lever pulled. But overall, I thought it was kind of a cool opening, mainly because of the fact that you got 70,000 people chanting with the New Day. I think that was the cool part of it. But nothing special or not. Opening match on the main card, another surprise. Wow, Shane McMahon and AJ Styles kick off the show, the main card, and we're all like, again, the internet was like, this is starting the show? Whoa. But I've got to say, Matt, Shane and AJ exceeded any expectations I could have had. I thought I thoroughly loved this match, Matt. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought the match. As I said on Twitter, I thought the match was better than it had any right to be. Mm-hmm. They both, busted their ass. Props to both of those dudes. I thought the match was a great way to kick off the show, and Styles got a much-deserved win that he should have gotten last year.
And on top of that, I mean, most of the match wasn't a spot fest or a fight. I mean, there was some wrestling and some great counter moves. I mean, Shane countering the 450 springboard off the ropes into a triangle. I thought that was slick. Shane had some slick counters, and so props to Shane for putting some good wrestling on, along with probably one of the greatest wrestlers of our generation today in AJ Styles. These guys tore the house down and definitely kicked off WrestleMania in the right way with a phenomenal 20-minute match that ended with AJ Styles. And man, the pop for AJ when he at the beginning of the match, man, woo! The WrestleMania crowd wanted AJ. That was awesome. Next up is the United States Championship match. We get Kevin Owens making his entrance, and a big pop for him, of course. Then they show some YouTube sensation who has 1.8 billion views. Well, I can tell you that none of my views are part of those 1.8 because I have no idea who the hell that was. Basically, that was just some filler because, it's a long fucking ramp down to the ring. But, Matt, props to the stage crew. That was one of the coolest sets I've ever seen. You agree?
I think it was the coolest looking WrestleMania set ever. Like, I really can't think of a better one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful set, and too bad it would burn down in flames after the show ended. But, oh well, it is what it is.
That was a little crazy. Check Matt's Twitter at RIF Showtime to see what we're talking about there. And then they did some sweet stuff with the ramp. We'll talk about that as we get there, but there's some cool stuff with the ramp, too. Chris Jericho comes out with a gigantic list of Jericho on the set and a kick-ass light-up scarf as we get Chris Jericho taking on Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. The crowd absolutely going nuts for Jericho as well, and I thought these guys put on a pretty damn good show, as we should expect. I didn't really have any problems with this match at all either here, Matt, did you?
Nope.
The counters were great. The lot of drama with the Walls of Jericho. I mean, KO even put Jericho in the Walls of Jericho. And then after Owens going for a pop-up powerbomb, and Jericho countered it into a brilliant code breaker, and he goes for the cover, and KO gets a knuckle on the rope to break the count. I thought that was cool.
You know, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think my major issue with quite a few of the matches tonight was just that the finishes fell flat. And this, to me, this was one of those matches where the finish was kind of flat for a WrestleMania match. I mean, you powerbombed them on the apron, you rolled them in, and you pinned them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's it? You know, I mean, I'm not complaining. To me, the right guy won, and I can overlook a lot of stuff when the right guy, in my opinion, wins. You know, so Owens won. I can overlook a lot of, you know, the finishes in that regard. But, you know, he couldn't have at least brought him back in the ring and hit him with another pop-up powerbomb. I don't know. It was just weird to me. Like, that ending in several other matches, and I'll bring it up as we go through. I just felt a lot of the finishes fell flat tonight.
Yeah.
Even if the right guy went over, a lot of the finishes, I was just like, wow, really, that's it? You know, that's really, you know, all we're getting? And I don't know. It was just really confusing, some of the way the finishes went tonight.
You kind of wonder, like, all of a sudden Vince just says, go home, like, out of the blue, and the ref's like, go home, guys. And they're like, what? You know? I think it would have been a lot better ending if Jericho would have kicked out. That would have been a beautiful near fall, because nobody expects anybody to kick out of an apron powerbomb. And then you throw like you just said, throw the pop-up powerbomb on Jericho again for the 1, 2, 3. But overall, I thought it was a pretty cool match. The crowd loves Jericho, obviously, so it was really cool to see a large crowd like that get behind Chris Jericho. Next up is the Raw Women's Championship match, and Matt was happy because Charlotte, Flair, Sasha Banks, and Bayley ganged up on Nia Jax and eliminated her first.
Do you feel this match was too short?
Yeah, it only went 12 minutes.
Because I felt the match was just way too short. Like, it's finally, when they finally got rid of Jax, I'm like, all right, cool, now the match can really begin. And, like, after Jax was gone, I felt like the match was over almost just as quickly as she was eliminated.
Yeah,
I felt the other two eliminations afterwards were just so quickly done, and I was just like, ugh, you know, I felt like they didn't get nearly enough time that they deserved. And I mean, granted, I know WrestleMania went over midnight tonight and went over 7 hours in length combined with the kickoff show. But you know, I was really just questioning the overall length, you know, of the show. Just like the overall length of the match. I don't know. It felt like a lot of things just didn't fit properly tonight, if that makes sense. It's really hard to explain. I said it on Twitter. Clearly this WrestleMania was better than last year's in Dallas, and it wasn't that hard to be a better show than the one that was in Dallas last year. But there was just a lot of weird, questionable things about the show tonight that leave me scratching my head, and more so now that I'm actually sitting here and digesting it all and thinking about it after the fact. You know, just weird finishes, matches being too short. A part of me has to wonder if I almost feel like they should have just cut the New Day segment at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. And they should have just done something on the Tron with, hey, the New Days, we're here and we're hosting WrestleMania and blah blah blah, and here we go. Because I mean, by the time Styles and Shane started, it was already like 7:20 Eastern. Yeah. So like the first 20 minutes of the show was already taken up by the opening New Day segment, and then of course they wasted another 10 minutes or so on that stupid musical act that I don't think anybody watched.
That was funny. They were showing the crowd. They were showing the crowd just as they were introducing that act, and you saw dozens of people stand up and go to the pisser.
That's funny. I didn't even know. I got up and used the bathroom. So
another cool thing on the Jericho thing, the countdown came back for Jericho's entrance. I thought that was kind of a cool little twist, old school twist.
Do you this might even sound stupid, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. Do you think the length of the ramp somehow hindered the overall length of the matches tonight? Do you think the entrances might have been too long?
Yes, because, well, here, I'll tell you this. I saw this on Twitter. Goldberg and Lesnar went, I think, 4.5 minutes. Undertaker's entrance went 5.5. Undertaker's entrance alone was 5.5 minutes. And
he came up in the middle of the ramp.
Yeah. What I said about the women's match on Twitter, I go, great women's title match. Seemed fast, though. Oh, can't cut time out of Pitbull and Flo Rida.
Yeah, the thing is, again, I felt the right person won. Like, I figured either Bayley should retain or Sasha should turn heel at the end and beat Bayley.
Yeah.
But, I definitely feel like, the right person won. I was really worried at the end when it came down to Charlotte and Bayley because I'm like, oh, fuck, Bayley pinned Charlotte clean on Raw. And we're down to these two again. There's no way Charlotte's going to lose again, but she did, and they made the right call. I don't know. I just felt the match wasn't given nearly enough time to develop into what it could have been.
No, because, all of a sudden it went from 3 to 2 like that. I'm like, whoa, Sasha's down already. I'm like, what? And Bayley and Charlotte only went 4 more minutes after that before it was over. All right, it's time for the oh shit moment of the night. The New Day, or actually, I'm sorry, Sheamus and Cesaro come out wearing kilts, matching kilts. That was kind of cool. Enzo and Cass come out to a huge reaction. Oh, well, of course, we all been waiting to hear 70,000 people chant along with Enzo and Cass, so I thought that was a kind of a cool thing. The club comes out, and then the New Day comes out, and they're wearing wrestling gear. So, Matt, your thought of them jumping in a match was pretty close.
I really thought they were going to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles tonight from the Usos, but really there was no time in the fucking show to do it.
Yeah. So do you think they were going to jump in and jump into this ladder match? Did you think all of a sudden they were going to insert themselves in because they were the hosts? Did you really fall for that? Or did you think something else was going to happen?
To me, it could have gone either way at that point. But I was definitely happy with the result of what happened here, and I truly believe this was the highlight of the pay-per-view. I will say, however, that I kind of really feel bad for Enzo and Cass.
Yeah,
because I kind of feel like this was going to be their night, and well, sorry guys, freaking
we just made a big acquisition.
The Hardys are back. It is not your night anymore. So, I kind of feel bad for Enzo and Cass, but I'm very happy that that the Hardys are the greatest tag team in all of time and space, and have been both the TNA, the Ring of Honor, and the WWE Tag Team Champions all in the course of 30 days.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. As soon as ladders were,
I guarantee you that's something that'll never be replicated.
As soon as ladders were introduced into this tag team feud, I just had this inkling that the Hardys were coming back. Granted, it would have been physically wow because they had a outstanding match at Supercard of Honor just 24 hours prior. But Big E says they just received word that there's a fatal 4-way now. And Wood says there's one more team involved in this match, and that's when Jeff Hardy's classic music hits. Him and Matt come out, and Orlando went nuts. The internet became broken. A ton of delete chants all throughout the arena. Matt, how amazing was that, man?
Oh, it was great.
I gotta go back and watch that.
And the thing was, like, the Hardys were broken without being broken. Exactly. If that makes sense, and clearly WWE is aware of the ongoing lawsuit with Anthem, and I feel with WWE, with the Hardys now, that they are going to crush Anthem like the little peasant and bugs that they are. And once that lawsuit is settled, that they'll fully dive into the broken universe.
Are we
WWE? But right now they've got to take care of Anthem first. Advanced TNA needs to be buried.
Are we getting a "fuck that owl" chant tomorrow night?
Yes, 150% yes. There is no way that chant does not happen, and there's no way that Vince does not have a heart attack backstage while trying to get the fans to shut up. Yeah, there's no way that chant does not happen tomorrow night. There's no freaking way.
Jeff Hardy was last in the WWE in 2009, Matt in 2010. Oh, God, what a moment. Like I said, I got to go back.
Did you watch their promo on the WWE YouTube?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, they like Hart Matt speaking in kind of like his normal accent, but they use the words procure, they use delete, obsolete, delightful, like all the words are there.
Yeah.
And they kind of like enunciate those words when they're speaking, but they're kind of talking normal too. So they're clearly treading lightly until this stuff is settled with Matt TNA. But I guarantee as soon as that shit's done, that all bets are off, and it's gonna be pretty fucking dope. So
lots of insane action in this match, but none more insane than Jeff Hardy doing a swanton off a gigantic ladder onto Sheamus and Cesaro on bridged ladders across between the ring and the rail. Holy fuck. And after that moment, that's when Broken Matt climbed up the ladder, and it was wonderful. Your new Raw Tag Team Champions, Matt and Jeff Hardy.
How happy is Sheamus that Jeff missed that swanton bomb on him?
Yeah, I know.
Because Sheamus already got his face busted open on Monday. For Cesaro to have to take it, and for Sheamus to just be able to roll off the ladder, he's probably laying there going, thank God that he didn't hit me.
Crowd went absolutely fucking nuts when Matt grabbed the titles. What a moment. Jeff and Matt are now 7-time WWE Tag Team Champions. Wow. That was a moment, man. That's a WrestleMania moment right there. I mean, that's what it's all about. Lots of delete chants. Very cool. At the end, Matt was doing the delete. Jerry Lawler is ringside for the next match, and John Cena followed that, right?
Yeah. Well, no one was following that.
This was probably the perfect match to follow that, because this was more of an angle than a match. It was not really a much of a match at all. Obviously, Miz kind of doing sneaky things to get the upper hand for a little while. It was a little disappointing that Maurice didn't do any wrestling, but again, she hasn't wrestled in a match in 5 years, so I guess that's okay. I was kind of hoping a little more wrestling from Maurice here, Matt. I don't know about you.
To me, like, just the whole match felt weird.
It just was like a big angle, and obviously...
yeah, we all knew what was happening at the end.
Yeah, the big payoff, 5-knuckle shuffle into their finishers, dual finishers, and...
I meant after that.
Match went 10 minutes, and then after that, we all knew it was going to happen.
See, you say the match went 10 minutes. I felt like it was even shorter than that.
Yeah.
Like, I really felt like this match was super short. Like, they really weren't given time to do anything.
Yeah, it says 9:40 is the official time.
Yeah.
Then John Cena's got a microphone and talked about how over a year ago, when Nikki broke her neck and did everything she could to make it back for a WrestleMania moment, he told her something when she was loopy before her surgery and promised to tell her when the time was right. And it was that one day he was going to marry her. Obviously, she couldn't remember that because she was drugged up. Cena pulls out a box from his jorts and asks if she would marry him. And a big moment. Very cool, though. I mean, we knew it was happening, Matt, but I still thought it was a cool moment. Next up is Seth Rollins, Triple H. Triple H, I thought Triple H's entrance was cool with the police escort. And Triple H riding the old trike down the ramp, and then Seth Rollins with a torch. I thought that was one of the cool uses of the ramp when Seth Rollins lit the. Maybe it was Seth Rollins that it just finally festered and then it blew up after WrestleMania ended. It was all Seth Rollins' fault.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I thought that was a cool thing though with the torch thing going all the way to the ring. I thought that was a cool effect.
It was a simple entrance for a simple effect. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Longest match of the night was this one, and
it still didn't feel long enough.
No, I thought it told a great story. I thought these guys did a hell of a job.
To me, the ending was just kind of out of nowhere. And I mean, to me, Triple H going down to one pedigree, I was just like, eh. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I feel like everything on this show had to have gotten cut. Like everything. Like everything from some point they realized, oh my god, our time is brutalized right now and we have to chop time off everything. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I guarantee you that they plan to have Samoa Joe interfere in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably just cut for time restraints. And that sucks for Joe. He missed his WrestleMania debut. But nothing you can do about it. But yeah, I feel like everything was rushed tonight after Styles and Shane. To be honest with you, I feel like that was the only match that I felt creatively went the right length, had the proper finish. The finish made sense. Everything flowed really well. And everything after that just kind of felt like it was cut short, or the finish was oddly placed, and it was a confusing evening.
Yeah, because the ladder match was even shorter than the women's match, the women's 4-way.
I definitely felt that ladder match was really short. But honest to God, after the Hardys had to wrestle 2 ladder matches in one weekend, I really felt it was probably good for them that the match was as short as it was.
This is I thought this was a very good match, though, for it being 26 minutes long. Like you said, it didn't feel like 26 minutes, didn't get all the time in, but I thought the countering of the pedigrees was unique and pretty cool. Triple H working the knee, of course, we knew that was going to happen. Rollins ducking out of the way, and Triple H nearly knocking into Steph, and only to turn around and eat a super kick and then stumble into Steph, and she goes through a table. The Orlando crowd just popped big when Steph went through a table, and props to the $1 Billion Princess for taking a table bump. I thought it was a cool moment, but yeah, Matt, I agree. One pedigree and that's it. I mean, is the shock of his wife going through a table sapping the energy out of him for the kick out of the finisher?
Honestly, I'd have liked it better if they would have brought back the curb stomp for one night.
I thought it was gonna.
Because I mean, honestly, Triple H jobbed out to one of his own moves, and it just one time. It's not like he got hit with multiple pedigrees and then eventually lost. He got hit with one pedigree and went down. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just felt weird, and the right guy won. Rollins should have won the match, and that's why I overlook a lot of the stuff that happened tonight, because for I would say 85% of the card, the right people won their matches. Maybe even 90%, but just the length of each match tonight after the opener with Shane and AJ, and the finishes for a lot of those matches, it just felt weird. And the more I'm sitting here thinking about it after the show, the more weird it is to me. It didn't even process as much as it did as I was watching the show. But now that we're going back through and we're reviewing over everything, it's really fucking weird.
And I think that trend probably continues in the WWE Championship match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I mean, they only got 11 minutes here. What did you think of this championship match here?
I thought it was the worst match on the card.
Yeah, what didn't you like about it? It just didn't seem like they jabbed well in the ring.
I don't know. I would definitely agree with you. I don't feel that I thought they were going to work in the ring a lot better than they have. I mean, they've been in the ring with each other several times before. It just wasn't a good match. And again, it was one RKO and you jobbed out. I mean, Orton got the kick out of Sister Abigail. Why didn't Bray get the kick out of an RKO?
Yeah.
It just, the finish was just weird. And you did all that building up of Bray this year with the Elimination Chamber and afterwards and everything leading up into this match to just make him a job bitch to Randy Orton. This was one of those matches, of the 10% that I feel not only did the wrong guy win, the match wasn't good either. People want to point at Taker and Reigns or Goldberg and Lesnar. I truly feel that Orton and Wyatt had the worst match of the night with probably the worst result too, because this has long-term ramifications on the company as who the champion is.
Yeah, the crowd was definitely more into Wyatt than they were Orton for sure. I mean, it wasn't the big pops that Orton has gotten in the past. So, I thought the maggots and the roaches and the worms.
It was really weird. It was really weird. Like, I didn't have a problem with it. I just thought it was weird.
Yeah, it was unique.
I guess unique is an okay enough word for it.
I thought Goldberg and Lesnar was 5 minutes of the way it should have went.
Dude, I can't imagine it. Like, we all knew Goldberg was going to lose. This is it for Goldberg. He's done. But what more could you ask for? I mean, it was a fun 5-minute brawl with a lot of spears and a lot of German suplexes and an F5 and a jackhammer and
crowd was into it.
Yeah,
crowd loved it.
Yeah, I don't know what more you could have asked for. That this was much better than their WrestleMania 20 match. It was clearly better than the quick minute match or whatever at Survivor Series. I really don't know what you could ask for more than what they gave you. I thought Goldberg and Lesnar killed it. And I went in I knew Lesnar was winning. The only thing that annoyed me is, I've had my heart set on last month of Finn Balor coming out winning the championship, but I knew as soon as this match wasn't going on last that they weren't going to do it. I'm like, they're not going to do that on a match that's not going on in the end. But I mean, if you go back and you listen to the commentary of this match, they mentioned at least 2 or 3 times that Brock Lesnar had conquered his demons. Like, they were very specific with the word conquering of his demons. Like, why else would they never said that before until tonight? They said it like 2 or 3 times, like they were trying to drill those words into your head. So I feel like tomorrow night Heyman's going to come out with Lesnar, they're going to cut the promo, and Heyman's going to start talking about how Brock has conquered his demon, and he has no other demons to worry about within the WWE. And that's when Balor's going to come out. I still truly believe that Balor's going to win the Universal Championship on Raw tomorrow night. So, I can be completely crazy, but I don't think I am. I think it's going to happen. So,
well, it sucked when we had a part-time champion and he wasn't there, and it wasn't defended at a pay-per-view and stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully that does happen. A lot of people thought this match was going to get cut, but no. I mean, WWE really doesn't have time restraints.
Everybody's flipped up. They're going to be good. The match is being cut, but Natty put out a tweet of almost here, #WrestleMania, of her gear getting ready at like 10:46 p.m. And I'm like, I retweeted it, and I said, people, calm down. The match isn't cut. Like, it's amazing how powerful social media can get, where one person can say something negative that's not true, and it can catch on like wildfire within a matter of minutes to the point where everybody thinks the match was canceled. Like, where do you even get your story from? Like, who in hell told you that the match was canceled? One person assumed it, and it spread like fire on social media like a bad telephone game, and all of a sudden everybody thought the match got cut. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It was very short, though. It only went 5.5 minutes.
I'm happy they all got their entrances, though.
Yes, that was good. Though, obviously, some, I think, by the time they got to the middle or last quarter of the ramp is when they started the other one. But, yes, at least they got a good portion of their entrance in. Not much to really say about this. I mean, it was 5 minutes and gone, and the right woman won. I mean, that's basically all you could say about it, right?
Naomi won back the title. She never lost. She deserved it. A hometown girl deserved to win the title there. I thought her submission finisher was pretty dope. And I didn't have a problem with it at all. I wish it would have been longer, but then again, I wish a majority of the matches on the show tonight would have been longer. But it's just the way the show was booked tonight was really weird, and it is what it is. There's really nothing else that can be said about it. All the girls worked really hard. I thought for a 5-minute match they got a lot of spots in. They worked as hard as they could within the time limit that they had, and the right girl won.
Final match of the night was Taker and Roman Reigns. It was a mess at times, like Roman trying to reverse into a tombstone, but I think Undertaker just couldn't get himself up into the momentum to help Reigns finish that move out, and then they tried it again and it didn't work. That was kind of I thought maybe after Taker kicked out of a spear, like maybe the second or third spear, that I thought, oh, this is it, it's over, and he kicks out. I thought, oh, maybe they're going to tell the story of how Undertaker somehow digs deep and wins his final match, but no, a fourth spear by Roman Reigns, and that ended it after about 23 minutes. And after the match, Taker laying there motionless, but then he sits up and basically gives his version of a curtain call, leaving his gloves, his jacket, and his hat in the middle of the ring. While the placement of the match made you wonder, seeing the end with Undertaker signing off finally, or probably for the last time at WrestleMania, I think it made complete sense to put this match last because of what we were given at the end, Matt. I know you didn't want it to be last, but what did you think about the end of WrestleMania 33?
It would have been a lot worse without Jim Ross calling it, that's for damn sure. The match was...
There were times where Cole wouldn't shut up, and like Jim's trying to talk or something. I'm like...
The match wasn't good. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah. It wasn't.
And honestly, Taker wanted to retire last year, and he told people after the show, that he retired, and he was done. And of course, the WWE coaxed him to come back this year and put over Reigns. This is on WWE. It's WWE's fault. WrestleMania is supposed to, even if the result isn't what you want it to be, it's supposed to have that happy ending at the end. Like last year, like Reigns beating Triple H was supposed to be the happy ending, even though there's a lot of people out there that didn't want to see it. But this was about as shitty of an ending as you could get. Having to watch The Undertaker, who honestly, unfortunately, it was a shell of his former self. Work this match with Reigns and take that beating that his body at his age should have never, ever put himself through. And had to, go out like that. It just sucked. Yeah, I'm going to miss The Undertaker. Easily one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I've been watching pro wrestling for 30 years now, and it really sucks to see him go out like that. It almost would have been better to just let his last match have been at WrestleMania 30 when the streak ended with Brock, and let him retire then. The streak was over, let him walk off into the sunset and let it go there. It just kind of sucks that it ended the way it ended tonight. I just didn't like the finish at all. And when I've said it before, and I've said it a million times about anything wrestling related, you always remember the finish to the show, and it overall sets your overall opinion on the rest of the show. This wasn't a bad WrestleMania. It was much better than last year's. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. But the end of the show left such a sour taste in my mouth, and I have such a freaking headache. I'm recording this show, people, with a massive headache. So if you don't hear me getting excitable, or I'm not, talking very loudly or anything, my head is throbbing so bad. And, it was a very disheartening way to end your biggest show of the year. I really hope Raw and SmackDown, have some happier endings within the next 48 hours, because watching Taker go out like that, it sucked. It just sucked.
Do you think that's it for Taker, or do you think we see a goodbye on Raw?
No.
Do you think we see a goodbye on Raw or SmackDown?
No. We're never going to see him again until he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, I think that's it, too.
He's done. We're never going to see him again until the Hall of Fame.
Let's wrap up this show with where are we going from here. Cruiserweight title, fully expect Austin Aries to continue his feud with Neville, correct?
Yep.
Intercontinental Championship. We said earlier.
Same thing.
Same thing. Kevin Owens. Who do you think?
The Jericho feud's not done yet. They'll fight again or payback.
Yep. What do you think? Who do you think Owens takes on after Jericho takes a little leave? Who would you like to see in that picture with Owens?
I honestly, right now, dude, I don't know.
Bayley is still the women's champion. Who do you think's next up for her?
No, it's the time to turn Sasha heel and go with Sasha Bayley. The Charlotte time is done. It's time to do something new. I think Sasha should turn on Raw, and they should start the program with her and Bayley going forward. I mean, unless they propel Emma right into that spot. And I just can't imagine that they're going to do that.
Oh, we'll probably get 17 more weeks of her vignette. So
I don't know. She kind of hinted in media interviews over the weekend that she would be on Raw Monday, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Joe also said he was going to be at WrestleMania. So
yeah. Do you think we'll get a fairly lengthy feud between the Club and the Hardys?
I think that's going to heavily depend on if AJ Styles moves to Raw or not.
Mm-hmm.
If AJ Styles goes to Raw, I'm going to say no. But if he stays on SmackDown, they could start a feud with them in the Club. Yeah, I mean, they could technically have a feud with anybody in that match. They didn't pin anybody to win the titles. Yeah, it's climbed the ladder.
Yeah.
Then all three teams could still have a claim to be number one contender for those titles. So.
Yep. What do you see? Do you see the Miz getting elevated at all down the road? Yep, there's a good answer. What about Seth Rollins? What's next for him? Do you think?
Samoa Joe.
I would not hate that. Do you see Bray Wyatt recapturing the title from Orton down the road?
No.
Who would be your opponent for Orton after the Wyatt feud?
So the Wyatt feud's done. If Styles is still on SmackDown, they said they move on to Styles and Orton. If not, and the rumored trades happen of Styles to Raw and Roman to SmackDown, it'll be Roman and Orton, and they'll have Roman beat Orton. And it's just because it's just the way this company's going.
Yeah. And the women's title, I don't know. I feel like Natalya or Mickie James are probably up there as next in line. I think Natalya is going to be due for a title run somewhere down the road this year. So I think Natalya might be the next one to feud with Naomi.
I think Carmella's next in line. I think Carmella will be the next one to feud with Naomi. I'm not saying she's going to win the title, but I think she'll be next in line to do this feud.
And since WrestleMania went so damn long, we're going to do our 5 count with our 5 favorite final lasting images of WrestleMania. We'll do that on our Thursday show this week. Matt, I'm going to guess WrestleMania 33 not on that list.
No, not even in. I wouldn't even put it in the top 20.
This is going to do it for Lost in the Midcards, NXT Takeover, and WrestleMania special. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. And just search for Lost in the Midcard, hit subscribe. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way, every Thursday and most Mondays after WWE pay-per-views. Also, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and the links to all that on our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. We're on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast. Matt's on that Twitter at Raw F Showtime. I'm on that Twitter at JB Huskers. And before we ride off into the sunset for the craziest Raw of the year, Matt, what are your final thoughts?
I really need headache pills.
Pills. we might need pills after this Raw and SmackDown too. For Matt Black, Jeremy Bennett here. Thank you for tuning in to our special edition of Lost in the Midcard. We will catch you on Thursday.